Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Force into or from an action or state, either physically or metaphorically. She rammed her mind into focus. The first sign of the zodiac which the sun enters at the vernal equinox. The sun is in this sign from about March 21st to April 19th. Crowd or pack to capacity. Undergo damage or destruction on impact. The most common computer memory which can be used by programs to perform necessary tasks while the computer is on. An integrated circuit memory chip allows information to be stored or accessed in any order, and all storage locations are equally accessible. Uncastrated adult male sheep. Astrology. A person who is born while the sun is in Aries. Strike or drive against with a heavy impact. Ram the gate with a sledgehammer. A tool for driving or forcing something by impact. Hitting a golf ball off of a tee with a driver. He sliced his drive out of bounds. The act of applying force to propel something. After reaching the desired velocity, the drive is cut off. A journey in a vehicle, usually an automobile. He took the family for a drive in his new car. Force into or from an action or state, either physically or metaphorically. He drives me mad. Have certain properties when driven. My new truck drives well. Move into a desired direction of discourse. A road leading up to a private house. They parked in the driveway. Cause to move back by force or influence. Strive and make an effort to reach a goal. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. The team was ready for a drive toward the pennant. A wide scenic road planted with trees. The Riverside Drive offers many exciting scenic views. Travel or be transported in a vehicle. Proceed along in a vehicle. We drive the turnpike to work. A mechanism by which force or power is transmitted in a machine. A variable speed drive permitted operation through a range of speeds. A physiological state corresponding to a strong need or desire. Cause someone or something to move by driving. Cause to function by supplying the force or power for or by controlling. The amplifier drives the tube. Cause to move rapidly by striking or throwing with force. Drive the ball far out into the field. Compel somebody to do something, often against his own will or judgment. Computer science. A device that writes data onto or reads data from a storage medium. Excavate horizontally. Drive a tunnel. Hit very hard, as by swinging a bat horizontally. Drive a ball. Hunting. Chase from cover into more open ground. Drive the game. Hunting. Search for game. Drive the forest. Move by being propelled by a force. Operate or control a vehicle. Drive a car or bus. Push, propel, or press with force. Sports. A hard straight return, as in tennis or squash. Strike with a driver, as in teeing off. Drive a golf ball. The act of driving a herd of animals overland. The trait of being highly motivated. His drive and energy exhausted his coworkers. To compel or force or urge relentlessly or exert coercive pressure on, or motivate strongly. She is driven by her passion. Urge forward. Drive the cows into the barn. Work as a driver. He drives a bread truck. Of a law, having legal validity. Group of people willing to obey orders. A public force is necessary to give security to the rights of citizens. Physical energy or intensity. He hit with all the force he could muster. A put-out of a base runner who is required to run. The put-out is accomplished by holding the ball while touching the base to which the runner must advance before the runner reaches that base. The shortstop got the runner at second on a force. To cause to do through pressure or necessity, by physical, moral or intellectual means. She forced him to take a job in the city. Force into or from an action or state, either physically or metaphorically. Urge or force, a person, to an action, constrain or motivate. Move with force. Impose urgently, importunately, or inexorably. She forced her diet fads on him. Squeeze like a wedge into a tight space. A unit that is part of some military service. He sent Caesar a force of 6,000 men. One possessing or exercising power or influence or authority. May the force be with you. An act of aggression, as one against a person who resists. He may accomplish by craft in the long run what he cannot do by force and violence in the short one. Take by force. A group of people having the power of effective action. He joined forces with a band of adventurers. A powerful effect or influence. The force of his eloquence easily persuaded them. Do forcibly, exert force. Don't force it. Physics, the influence that produces a change in a physical quantity. Force equals mass times acceleration. The first sign of the zodiac which the sun enters at the vernal equinox. The sun is in this sign from about March 21st to April 19th. Astrology. A person who is born while the sun is in Aries. A small zodiacal constellation in the northern hemisphere, between Pisces and Taurus. The first sign of the zodiac which the sun enters at the vernal equinox. The sun is in this sign from about March 21st to April 19th. Crowd or pack to capacity. Study intensively, as before an exam. Crowd or pack to capacity. Prepare, students, hastily for an impending exam. Put something somewhere so that the space is completely filled. Cram books into the suitcase. Informal terms for a difficult situation. A dense crowd of people. Deliberate radiation or reflection of electromagnetic energy for the purpose of disrupting enemy use of electronic devices or systems. Block passage through. Press tightly together or cram. Interfere with or prevent the reception of signals. Crush or bruise. Jam a toe. Crowd or pack to capacity. The theater was jam-packed. Get stuck and immobilized. The mechanism jammed. Preserve of crushed fruit. Push down forcibly. The driver jammed the brake pedal to the floor. Crowd or packed to capacity. The theater was jam-packed. Often followed by a large number or amount or extent. A wad of money. Compress into a wad. Wad paper into the box. Crowd or packed to capacity. A wad of something chewable as tobacco. A small mass of soft material. He used a wad of cotton to wipe the counter. The act of colliding with something. His crash through the window. Enter uninvited, informal. Let's crash the party. Hurl or thrust violently. Undergo damage or destruction on impact. The plane crashed into the ocean. Break violently or noisily, smash. Sleep in a convenient place. You can crash here, though it's not very comfortable. Stop operating. My computer crashed last night. A serious accident, usually involving one or more vehicles. They are still investigating the crash of the TWA plane. A sudden large decline of business or the prices of stocks, especially one that causes additional failures. A loud resonant repeating noise. Cause to crash. The terrorists crashed the plane into the palace. Computer science, an event that causes a computer system to become inoperative. The crash occurred during a thunderstorm and the system has been down ever since. Fall or come down violently. The branch crashed down on my car. Make a sudden loud sound. The waves crashed on the shore and kept us awake all night. Move violently as through a barrier. The terrorists crashed the gate. Move with, or as if with, a crashing noise. The car crashed through the glass door. Occupy, usually uninvited. My son's friends crashed our house last weekend. Undergo a sudden and severe downturn. The economy crashed. The most common computer memory which can be used by programs to perform necessary tasks while the computer is on. An integrated circuit memory chip allows information to be stored or accessed in any order and all storage locations are equally accessible. The most common computer memory which can be used by programs to perform necessary tasks while the computer is on. An integrated circuit memory chip allows information to be stored or accessed in any order and all storage locations are equally accessible. The most common computer memory which can be used by programs to perform necessary tasks while the computer is on. An integrated circuit memory chip allows information to be stored or accessed in any order and all storage locations are equally accessible. The most common computer memory which can be used by programs to perform necessary tasks while the computer is on. An integrated circuit memory chip allows information to be stored or accessed in any order and all storage locations are equally accessible. Uncastrated adult male sheep. A British term is tup. Move heavily or clumsily. Partition off into compartments. The locks pound the water of the canal. Hit hard with the hand, fist, or some heavy instrument. The salesman pounded the door knocker. The basic unit of money in Cyprus, equal to 100 cents. Move rhythmically. A symbol for a unit of currency, especially for the pound sterling in Great Britain. The act of pounding, delivering repeated heavy blows. The pounding of feet on the hallway. A public enclosure for stray or unlicensed dogs. Unlicensed dogs will be taken to the pound. The basic unit of money in Syria, equal to 100 piastres. A non-technical unit of force equal to the mass of 1 pound with an acceleration of free fall equal to 32 feet, sec. The basic unit of money in Great Britain and Northern Ireland, equal to 100 pence. Formerly the basic unit of money in Ireland, equal to 100 pence. 16 ounces avoirdupois. He got a hernia when he tried to lift 100 pounds. The basic unit of money in Lebanon, equal to 100 piastres. The basic unit of money in the Sudan, equal to 100 piastres. Shut up or confine in any enclosure or within any bounds or limits. The prisoners are safely pounded. Place or shut up in a pound. Pound the cows so they don't stray. The basic unit of money in Egypt, equal to 100 piastres. Strike or drive against with a heavy impact. Pound on the door. United States writer who lived in Europe. Strongly influenced the development of modern literature, 1885 to 1972. A unit of apothecary weight equal to 12 ounces troy. Break down and crush by beating, as with a pestle. Pound the roots with a heavy flat stone. Teach by drills and repetition. Strike or drive against with a heavy impact. The act of applying force to propel something. Push upward. The front of the trains that had collided head-on thrust up into the air. Penetrate or cut through with a sharp instrument. Make a thrusting forward movement. Impose urgently, importunately, or inexorably. A strong blow with a knife or other sharp-pointed instrument. Place or put with great energy. Thrust the money in the hands of the beggar. The force used in pushing. The thrust of the jet engines. Press or force. She thrust the letter into his hand. A sharp hand gesture, resembling a blow. He made a thrusting motion with his fist. Force, molten rock, into pre-existing rock. Push forcefully. He thrust his chin forward. Verbal criticism. He enlivened his editorials with barbed thrusts at politicians. Informal terms for personal possessions. Overeat or eat immodestly, make a pig of oneself. She stuffed herself at the dinner. Fill with a stuffing while cooking. Have you stuffed the turkey yet? Senseless talk. Don't give me that stuff. Obstruct. My nose is all stuffed. The tangible substance that goes into the makeup of a physical object. Wheat is the stuff they use to make bread. Press or force. A critically important or characteristic component. Suspense is the very stuff of narrative. Cram into a cavity. The child stuffed candy into his pockets. Fill tightly with a material. Stuff a pillow with feathers. Information in some unspecified form. It was stuff I had heard before. Miscellaneous unspecified objects. The trunk was full of stuff. Treat with grease, fill, and prepare for mounting. Stuff a bearskin. Unspecified qualities required to do or be something. The stuff of heroes. Be incompatible. Be or come into conflict. These colors clash. A state of conflict between persons. Crash together with violent impact. Two meteors clashed. A loud resonant repeating noise. A minor short-term fight. A state of conflict between colors. Her dress was a disturbing clash of colors. Disagree violently. We clashed over the new farm policies. Be incompatible. Be or come into conflict. Crash together with violent impact. The cars collided. Cause to collide. The physicists collided the particles. Computer storage that is erased when the power is turned off. A docile and vulnerable person who would rather follow than make an independent decision. His students followed him like sheep. A timid, defenseless simpleton who is readily preyed upon. Woolly, usually horned ruminant mammal related to the goat. A human being. There was too much for one person to do. A grammatical category used in the classification of pronouns, possessive determiners, and verb forms according to whether they indicate the speaker, the addressee, or a third party. Stop talking about yourself in the third person. A human body, usually including the clothing. A weapon was hidden on his person. The immaterial part of a person, the actuating cause of an individual life. Deep feeling or emotion. A human being. A secular form of gospel that was a major black musical genre in the 1960s and 1970s. Soul was politically significant during the civil rights movement. The human embodiment of something. The soul of honor. Characteristic of or meant for a single person or thing. An individual serving. Being or characteristic of a single thing or person. Individual drops of rain. A human being. Separate and distinct from others of the same kind. Mark the individual pages. Concerning one person exclusively. We all have individual cars. A single organism. A human being. A human being. Causing or capable of causing death. Mortal combat. A human being. Involving loss of divine grace or spiritual death. Subject to death. Mortal beings. Unrelenting and deadly. Mortal enemy. Ride in a car with no particular goal and just for the pleasure of it. We tooled down the street. The means whereby some act is accomplished. Science has given us new tools to fight disease. A person who is controlled by others and is used to perform unpleasant or dishonest tasks for someone else. Obscene terms for penis. An implement used in the practice of a vocation. Drive. The convertible tooled down the street. Furnish with tools. Work with a tool.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.